Cross our hearts. We promise never, never to be curious again.
And a one fish, two fish. And a one fish, two fish. And a red fish, blue fish. And a one fish, two fish. And a red fish, blue fish. Alright, I think that looks good. And a red fish, blue fish. Twitch is sounding fine. Let's go check YouTube. Fine. Let's go check YouTube. YouTube is fine. All right. I am still working on the aerobics outfit today. So I think we're going to be doing the special morphs. It's getting close to be done. I'm thinking it needs special morphs and then just some testing and stuff. Move it over to a test directory and clean it up there. Maybe get it over to Valkyrie tomorrow. That's the plan. Then I can start prepping the promo materials. And maybe end of the week it'll be submitted. And then we can start the next thing. I'm thinking sexy barbarian babe. Warrior outfit. Anyhow, what am I doing? Let's go to Daz. Let's open up Daz. Alright, let's you know what? Let's do the Genesis 8 version first, and then I don't know. I think Charles still wants a scabbard. I might get around to making a scabbard. I gotta make a sword and scabbard for Barbarian Babe, though. We'll do that. Yo, Charles, there you are. I think Barbarian Babe's basically going to be a armored bikini with a cape, maybe gloves with bracers and boots, and a sword and a sword belt. So that's the direction I'm thinking with that one. If I don't touch that today, we'll definitely be starting working on that tomorrow. So that's going to need a little bit of blender work. I guess maybe sword and scabbard we can start tomorrow. We do boots. Anyhow, we're doing special morphs for the and I just closed stuff. Don't close stuff, Chris. There we go. You know what? I'll just load the whole thing in. I'm not crazy about my current hero texture either. I think I might change this. Or I might not. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I should probably check the rigging. It would be nice if you could just pose it without, and I think you can. You don't, it poses fairly nicely without being deforced. but the straps will work a little bit better, I think, with the D-Force. Anyhow, I'm going to double check that, but I'm going to need special morphs for the shirt. I'm going to need special morphs for the, I need special morphs for everything. So I think, we're just going to export everything out in parts. Special morph for the headband's basically going to be a hanging and an on the ground. Same thing with these, and same thing with the leggings. The shirt will need a couple of lift morphs and maybe off the shoulder morphs. And maybe a down around the waist morph. The tights basically are going to need a bunch of down morphs. And then the suspenders. We'll need the suspenders off the shoulders and then some down morphs on that. So anyhow, let's I'm going to select everything like that. Let's just double check my names are looking good. My names are looking good. I don't know if there's anybody else here, but we'll give Charles a shout out. I hope everything's going well for you today, Charles. Let's come over here. Let's select everything. And we're going to come down here and switch everything to base resolution. And we are looking for the smoothing. And I'm going to turn the smoothing off on everything. And now we're just going to export it out one at a time. So we'll start with the headband. Export. Let's do this over into the morph file. I have some of these exported out already. I think I'm going to re-export them. And we'll say G8F headband. And accept that. Do the wristbands. Export those. G8F wristbands. And accept that. Okay, doing the hose. I have one of these, but I'm just going to rename it. G8F hose. Export that. I've got the leg warmers next. I'm going to do the leg warmers, the wristbands, and the headbands first. And if I'm lucky, that'll also work on the G9 versions. What am I doing? Leg warmers. G8F leg warmers. Do the leotard. That was the wrong thing. Damn it. Cancel that. Cancel, cancel, cancel. I just started the simulation. There we go. G8F suspender leotard. And then top is the last one. G8F top. Okay. Hey, Chris, your dyslexia is showing. You spelled your name wrong. Did I? CD? It's not CD, is it? It's CES. That's better. Yeah, I didn't need a certificate of deposit or a compact disc. All right, all right. Activating Marvelous Designer. It's loading, it's loading, it's loading. So we'll enjoy a little bit of coffee. I'm using my old Rocketeer mug. Most of my other mugs are in the kitchen waiting to be cleaned. All right, let's do that. Nope, that wasn't what I wanted. Maybe it was what I wanted, but I don't want you to do that. Let's pull you over here. Put you up like that. Is good. File, import, add, OBJ to garment. Let's do the headband first. This should be relatively easy. Here, Whee! Boom. On the ground. I'm going to drag this to center. Let's try that again. You know, it picks up a little bit of resistance there, doesn't it? And it moves the little ways. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple of things. We're going to make that additional thickness over there a lot thicker, so it puffs a little bit more. And you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to freeze that, stop this, do this, and then move it over to the center. Then unfreeze that, and then we can just drop it back to the ground. Pretty good. We're going to select that, and we'll export it. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Export OBJ selected. And, you know, I have a G8F female. We'll do this. And let's put a folder in here. And this will be on the ground 1. 01. Do that. Okie dokie. All right, let's back up a little bit. Select that. Put my thickness back in there. Now we're gonna try to lay it down nice and neat. See if we can do that. I'm gonna lower gravity so it doesn't fall so fast. And maybe we'll strengthen it up. We'll see how that works out. So if I do that, does that flatten out nicely? Almost. You know what? That's probably going to be good enough. I think I can maybe just tug on those a little bit. That gives me kind of a nice, neat, on the ground look. I'm going to actually make you even thicker, I think, today. There we go. To stop that. And then we're going to export that. That'll become on the ground too. And then for this, I'm going to make it a hanging morph, and we're just going to grab it in a corner and let it hang. Is it still in the sea? No, it did not. It did not recenter. Control. Does the Control Y do anything? You know what? We'll do that. So we're just going to grab it on one side. So we use a little bit of use the pin lasso. We'll just grab a few of these, like so. And we'll do that. And I'm going to select that and rotate them around a little, like that. That's going to be our hanging morph. I want to touch that up so that we get that extra thickness popping in there. Should be good. File, export, OBJ. Hanging. I'm not going to do 2 hanging morphs with this. We just need the 1. Usually I'll do 2 because 1, for clothes that kind of would naturally can be on a hanger, I will do a hanging like that. And then I'll just do a hanging as if you're holding like a part of it. With this, it doesn't make sense to put it on a hanger. I think this is good. All right, let's see how these are looking. All right, let's load these puppies up. Let's go select that headband. Let's activate our morph loader pro. Let's choose our morph files. Let's come into here and headband. And let's grab all 3 of these and hope that they work. They worked. They look like they worked. Let's come over here. That's probably working. That's, you know, I'm going to hang. We'll just focus on this. That looks good. That's probably fine. And that's acceptable. All right. We're going to organize these and save them out. And that pretty much is done for this headband. We'll load in the Genesis 912 and see if we can get that set up as well with the same morphs we just made. Edit mode. There we go. We have engaged edit mode. I can select all three of these and set the presentation. And for special morphs, I like to make them this color and this color. Say accept that, and now we're going to change the property group, and that's going to become actor special. And that should, and now we can come over here and we'll save that out as a modified asset. And then we can come down here and just select the ones we just made and accept that. And that should be good. All right, we're going to hide you. You know what? I'm going to load up Genesis 9. Daz isn't doing anything. There we go. Let's try this again. There we are. Let me get all the parts on the Genesis 9 too, as well. There we go. Let's run over here, 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 and here. And I just moved everything. Should be good. So ideally, if we select that headband, fingers crossed that this works. Otherwise, I have to do this separately. And there we go. Grab all of those. Say okay. Accept. Yay. I think that worked. I think that worked. I'm going to go ahead and hide that and just bring this back into view so we can just double check those morphs. That's looking fine. I think we're good. Okay, excellent. We'll do the same thing here and save those. Set the presentation. And set the property group. Actor special. And accept that. And that should be good. Then we'll save that out. And hopefully that finishes off the headband. Right there, special. What is down here? I only have expand. That makes sense. Actually, it's just a headband. I might add some additional adjustment morphs on the headband, but I don't know. Or maybe not. We'll see. I might add some that'll move and adjust the sides and the front and back and up and down. Or I just might be lazy. I don't know. Anyhow, let's hide that. Let's expand that. Let's go. We're going to do the wristbands now. All right, we're done with you. File, import, add OBJ to garment, and we're going to come over here and get those wristbands. And you know what? I think I'm going to start with an on the ground. I'm just going to drag these towards the center a little bit. I like the way that one bunched up. And you know what? I think maybe I'll just put one on top of the other. And we'll increase the I'm going to let that settle a little bit. Oh, I missed it. Dang it, dang it. All right, let's stop that. Can I just move? I move both of them at the same time, don't I? It just keeps falling off. I think that's what it's doing. All right, let's stop that. Let's increase the Add some additional thickness on that. And we'll let that engage. I'm going to increase my gravity. I think I have it set to like 1,000 still, don't I? No, it's 9,800. You know what? I'm going to decrease my, so it gets a little closer together. I think that'll be fine. That gives me an interesting, and then I'm going to kind of straighten them up a little bit. I think I'm going to redrop them, and then we'll do that. So export OBJ selected. And we'll come over here. And I need a new folder because I'm way too organized. Ah, wristband. On the ground. On ground 01. I've forgotten which way is front, which way is back. That's what it is. I think this is fine. You know what? If I do that, no, I didn't want to do that. If I do this, then I'm going to try to straighten them up a bit. See if I can just kind of get this turned around. And then we'll try to make these neat. Maybe I'll do it like, no, I want to do it like, I'm trying to get it up and down. I'm not getting a lot of friction off that ground, am I? It's all covered in Crisco. Getting there. I'm almost there. Baby steps. There we go. That's what I wanted. So they're like laid out nice and neat. All right, now we'll export that. That's on the ground too. And I'm just going to do a hanging. I'm going to grab them both and kind of bring them together like they're being both held together in one hand or something. Okie dokie. It's probably fastest for me to just delete that and reload them rather than trying to undo stuff. Although I do have to come back to here. Wristbands. Okie dokie. All right. So we're going to add a couple of pins. We'll add one over here first. I'm just going to put a pin right in there. And we'll come over to here and put one kind of in the same spot. I don't know, let's see if I can just grab these two right here without grabbing anything else. I think that did it. All right, is good. All right, so we're going to bring you over into here. Let me select this pin and we can drag you over to here. I was hoping that would zoom in better. So we'll kind of set those up like that. Give them a little more shape. Add a little more thickness to that. All right, that probably, I think I'm going to go with that. That'll be hanging. I don't know, maybe we adjust you a little bit. Probably good. Okay. Okay, should be good. So back over here, we'll load these in and save them out. More Floater Pro. Choose. Let's come over to the weight wristband. Oh no, where did I save you? Oh, I know, I saved you in the wrong spot. I didn't want that over there. I want you over here. There we go. Let's see how these work. Oh no, I had the headband selected. That was my problem. There we go. Let's try this again with the right thing selected this time. That's better. There's my hanging morph. There's an on the ground morph. There's another on the ground morph. I think we're good. All right, we're going to do the same thing. Give them colors. Put them into a special category. Yo, Atherin's on Christmas vacation. I thought you were on Christmas vacation. When I was getting a subscriber star notification on a Monday. Happy Christmas vacation, dude. I got a big boy Jorb that let you take time off. Nice. I forget what I'm doing. I'm setting a presentation. That's right. We're coloring our dials. We're working on special morphs on the aerobics outfit. All right, now we're going to set our property group for that. So when you go looking for this, this will be an actor under special. And in 17 years, you can retire. Good luck with that. Um, I think we're good. I think we're good. Let's take a look. Yep. All right. Let's save these. Oh no, I misspelled special. Let's respell special correctly this time. That should be better. All right, let's save those. It's the special spelling of special. Yes. The wrong one. I look uneducated enough as it is without misspelling half of my property groups. All right, those are good to go. I'm going to hide those, and then we're going to put the same morphs on the Genesis 9 version. So there we go. Do that. Hopefully the geometry should be the same. If I'm lucky. I got lucky. They're still the same. So we're going to go to more. So I do have to color these and put them in a group. So select those. Set the presentation to that and that. Say okay. Okay. Set the property group to actor. special. Accept that. Should be good. Now we'll come over here and look at special. There's my special morphs. All right, we're going to save those. And I'm somewhat officially done with the wristbands. There we go, special. Save those. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, moving along. Let's do the leg warmers next. So, same drill. We'll come over here. We'll get rid of this. We'll import in the leg warmers. Import add. OBJ to garment. Leg warmers. I misspelled leg warmers, but that's okay. Those are just basically working files. Do that. What's my gravity? Gravity's fine. I just need this to run a little bit more, don't I? That's not too... That's actually kind of interesting. And then when I do that, they'll fall over. That's a little better. And then I'm just going to drag this over here on top of the other one a little bit. Then we're just going to select those and save that out as an on-the-ground morph. I need a folder for this. On ground. Damn it. 01. Okay. All right, let's back this up to before the simulation. I'm going to try to lay them out neat. They're a little bunchy, though, so this may not really work. And then try to... Oh, there's the Atherin command. And then I'm going to try to get the other one over here. I'm kind of happy the way it's unfolding nicely. So we're just going to have them kind of laid out a little neater. You know, that's sort of working. And that's on the ground too. File, export, OBJ selected, on the ground, O2. And save that. And okay that. Okay, let's go back to there. I'm going to do a hanging morph. I'm just going to grab a couple of little pieces of this and then hold them up in the air. So we'll just grab a little bit from there. We'll just grab a little spot over here. Do that. I'm going to do this and we'll just pull that up. It's like a Christmas stocking, except everything falls out of the bottom. And then we're just going to move this one up next to it. I need to zoom in a little closer so I can kind of see what we're doing. You know what? That's going to be good. That's the hanging morph right there. Hanging. And should be good. And I think we're done with that. Let's see how this works out. All right, let's load it in. All right, let's run over to the leg warmers. There's the 3 morphs. Accept that. Oh no, because I've got the wrong thing selected again. There we go. Half the time I feel like I've got the wrong thing selected when I'm doing morphs. That's better. So there's our hanging morph. There's one with it just on the ground. And on the ground too. Yay. All right, same drill. Change the colors. Set it to special. Save it out. Set the property group. Actor. Special. And then save that modified asset. And accept that. And then we'll do the same thing for the Genesis 9 version. Because these morphs aren't supposed to be on the body, I can use them for both versions. And I'm not doing any other special morphs for the leg warmers, the wristbands, and the headbands. We are going to do other special morphs for the shirt, the suspender leotard, and the hose, though. So some of those can be shared, but most of them can't. Anyhow, what am I doing? I'm loading in morph targets. That's right. And we're hoping that this works. That looks like it worked. We'll just kind of double check here. Looks okay to me. All right, same drill. Set the presentation. And set the property group. And then save it out as a modifier asset. And everything under there. Okay, so those are done somewhat semi-officially. All right, let's hide that. What are we moving on to next? Let's do the suspender leotard. And for that, I'm going to also need to load in the hose and the top, because I actually want this to kind of work with those on the character as well. At least fingers crossed. So anyhow, we're going to select that. Oh, you know what? I have to, there we go. Nope, that was leg warmers. That's the O's. All right, so in here, we are done with you. We're going to load in an avatar for these. And then we're also going to load in the shirt just as an OBJ, because that'll act as an avatar in this case. Actually, I wanted the morphs, and we want to get the top in here. And I want to get the hose in here, and we're doing the, that's right, that's the way we're doing it. And then import add OBJ, we're going to get the hose in here. And then we're going to get the leotard in here, and we're loading the leotard in as a garment, because that's what we're going to be working with. Open. Alrighty, okay. And it's making a pattern. Okay. I'm going to turn gravity off for a little bit here, I think. Yeah, let's do that. I might have to turn it on a little bit, but we'll see how this works out. Someone want to say something about getting the hose in here? No. What What the Farfignugan? 0. I'm going to strengthen you. And then I'm going to see how's this work. Can I off shoulder? I need a little bit of gravity for this, I think. We'll put 1,000. You know what? This is going to be off the shoulder 1 and off the shoulder 2 is what I'm thinking. All right, let's control H. That's going to kind of go like that. And we're going to stop that. Add a little bit more thickness to that. Stop that. All right. File, export, OBJ selected. GA female. We need a folder for the suspender leotard. And this is that's the left side. Off shoulder. You know what, I'm going to say left. Oh, and that should have been 01. We'll do that in a second. All right, let's take that off completely now. I'm gonna pin this. We're gonna put this back. I'm gonna pin the bottom part of that in place. Actually, let's try it this way with it strengthened. Let me see if I can just kind of grab that and pull and pass the hand and back here and pull you back up. And control H on that. And I've got no gravity going on, so maybe add a little bit of gravity. And let that side drop down. Let that settle out. Probably good enough. All right. File, export, OBJ selected. That should have said 01. So we're going to fix that. And this one's going to be 02. All right, let's put that back. Let's do the other side. I'm not sure I got gravity turned on here. No, it looks like I got some gravity in here. Maybe not. Nope, we don't. Probably good. All right. File, export, OBJ selected. Shoulder, right, 01. Okay, let's do this. Back up a little bit, put you over there, run this. See if I can just grab that and pull it off. And then we'll kind of get you back up here. And we'll hit the, and I feel like I thought I did put 1,000 in there. It felt like it just froze in place, which isn't what I really wanted it doing. All right, we're just gonna, okay, excuse me, casually wait for that one to come down. Probably good enough. Off shoulder right 02. Yo, Willie, here how you doing? Did I save that? No, there it goes. There it goes. All right, let's put that back up there. Actually, let's come back to somewhere near here. You know, I'm just going to bring it back here. We'll do off shoulder both. So we're just gonna pull that out a little bit. And then we'll pull this out a little bit. Suddenly everything's gotten really jerky and slow. How annoying. I'm right clicking, simulation properties, minus 1,000. Control H. Let's pull those off the shoulders a little bit further. Oh no, too much momentum. Let's pull you back. I want you up in here. That looks good. I'm going to let that just settle a little bit. Probably good enough. Let's do off shoulder both 01. Okay, and then select that, do this, run the sim. We'll get those off both arms. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pin this down so it doesn't slide when we move it. Let's do that. And I don't really need to pin the back, but you know what? I'm going to pin the back anyhow. And then we'll do this, and we'll pull them off the arms. We'll start with the left. And then we'll do the right. All right, I'm going to do a Control H. And do I have any gravity turned on, or did that get undone? I do. I'm going to crank that up a little bit more. And we're just going to let that settle down. When this gets settled down, I'm going to delete off the pins and let it settle a little bit more. Jiminy Christmas, this got slow. We were doing so well, and then all of a sudden, I kind of suspect it jams up the undo buffer. I don't know. Let me try restarting it, see if that improves things. Let's save as project. We'll just put you right here. Oops. I typed Morse, which is the name of one of my directories. Morph. There we go. Let's do that. Let's shut you down. Let's just double check I'm not doing something stupid over here. Not really. All right, let's relaunch and see if I get any improvement now or if my memory is just jammed up. Okay. Da, 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 da. Should be under recent, right? Right there. Alrighty, let's see if this makes any. I don't know. Let's delete all our pins. Let's switch to accurate. So let's pause that and I think that's looking fine. File, export, OBJ selected, off shoulder, both, O2. Now we're going to start our down morphs. We'll just do down 1, down 2, down 3, down 4, maybe 5. All right. And that's just basically, we're just going to kind of tug. Oh, it's going to bounce up on me, isn't it? I need to make this stuff stickier. Let's try that. Let's stop you. All right, let's select that. Let's increase our friction on that. Do the same thing over here. Now let's see if that helps. Also, you know what? I'm going to do this. Sometimes helps to work with it in a strengthened state. And then we switch it back over to unstrengthened for the morph. So we kind of work you down. Just so we're right at about the butt crack is what I'm trying to get to. Right about in there, I think. Maybe. I'll pull the front down a little bit more. And then we'll go to the H and everything kind of flops a little bit more. We'll do this and file, export OBJ selected, and you're going to be down 01. Okay, now we'll switch this back to that and we'll just pull it just below the butt cheeks and the crotch. And that'll be 2, right about in there. Right about so. Do H on that, select, File, export, OBJ selected, down 02. Down 02. All right, moving along. I'm going to put that back on, and then we'll take this down to the lower part of the thigh. File, export, OBJ selected, down 03. Okay, we'll go just below the knees. I'm at that point where I probably don't need the static to be so high anymore, but I'm not going to bother taking it off. Down 04. Yeah, let's see if we can get this to the ankles. And I'm going to crank gravity way up to try to get it to drop down even further. I do kind of want to have the friction pretty high down here with this one. Genesis 9's got that flat feet pose, but this has got this A pose. So it's a little trickier getting things down around the, down about the ankles. That might be good enough though. Take that on, do that. Let's not have anything underneath the feet. We'll go with that. That's going to be down 05. Now we just need some hanging morphs and on the ground morphs. 05. And you know, for that, I'm just going to delete everything and reload. Import add OBJ's garment. We do want that. What was I doing? The suspender leotard. Yep. And we're going to hang this on a hanger. So let me go get my hanger. File, import, add OBJ. It's over here in projects. It's hanger 02 is the one I've been using. We're going to move you up to about here. And we're going to take you and move you over here. We're going to reduce gravity. I don't know. Is my gravity still? No, I'm using real gravity. We'll try that. And I'm going to bring that up over here. Maybe a little farther over, like in there. And we'll try to maybe bring you up into here. And I'm going to tweak that offset just a little bit. Should be good. That's going to be hanging 01. Hanging 01. Save that. Okie dokie. All right, let's undo back to here. Actually, can I undo you back to... Nope, I can't move that back. Never mind. And then we're just going to grab the shoulder here and we'll hang from that. Which one of you are my, there I need my pin lasso. We'll just grab those right there. Do that. Let it fall down. Give it a second. Increase that thickness just a little bit. Right about there. File, export, OBJ selected. Oh no. Oh, that's because I loaded it in my hanger. Oh, I forgot to save the hanger morph. Damn it. Oh well. I thought did I save you in here, Hanger 01? I probably just did, didn't I? Yep, right there. Let's move you. And let's put you right there. And then let's call this one 02. And save that. Okay, now we'll come back. And then we'll just drop it to the ground. Add my extra thickness. Export that on the ground one. Okay, we're going to back this up. Now we're going to try to lay it out nice and neat if we can. So rotate it like that, kind of get you closer to the ground. And I might actually, we'll just put the strengthen on too, that'll help. Just do this, and it'll kind of do that. And then we'll just switch it back to this. Make sure I got a little extra thickness in there. Probably good, so we'll save that on the ground 2. And I'm also sanity checking. All of those have got the same number, so they're probably good morphs. So over here, I don't need hose. I need suspender leotards. Let's do that. All right, let's load our morphs in. Let's come over here. And there's all those morphs we just did. We'll grab all of those, except that. Looks like they're good. Yay. So they're probably doing what they're supposed to do. So we're just going to take all of this. And we're going to set the colors and save them into a special group. Is good. All right, let's set our property group, actor, and special. There we go. Okie dokie. Let's save that as a modifier asset. Because this is the base product, I'm going to save it in the base. If this was an add-on, it would go into a different product. Special. There we go. And accept that. And also, if we are lucky, the on the graphs and the hanging morphs will work with the G9 version. So I think we'll just hide you a second. We'll bring you up, select you. We're just going to load in just those 4 morphs. So let's do that. This and hanging and on the ground. These other ones we have to do specifically for Genesis 9. So we got to bring a Genesis 9 avatar in to do those. But these should work just the same. It looks like they loaded in fine. It looks like it's okay. So we'll do the same thing. We'll give these a color and put them in a special group. I'll go ahead and save them just to be sure in case something bad happens and I don't want to redo this. That property group to actor special. Okie dokie. Let's go ahead and save it just to be safe. I'm going to resave them later, but right now. All right, that's done. Let's do the shirt. Let's do the top. Okay, we don't need that anymore. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and load in the hose too. I don't think I really need to, but I'm just not sure if there's a little bit of an overlap where it will make a difference. It'll make a difference for the waist more probably. So we'll get that in here. And we'll also bring in a copy of the hose. The O's. And import OBJ. And over here, and I'm looking for G8F hose. There we go. And then we'll load in the top. Import it as a garment. There we go. It might be sitting a little bit over. Yeah, the top is over the hose. Okay, sounds good. So we're gonna do a lift. One lift here, then we're going to do a lift and a lift and a lift both. In the back, we're going to do a lift and then a larger lift, and then we'll pull it off the shoulders. And I might do one that's just around the neck. Yeah, all right, so I'm going to start by grabbing these, doing this. I'm going to give it a little extra thickness, and we'll just grab that and pull it up a little ways, like so. I think I pulled in a little too far there. I think I went inside, didn't I? I did. Let's redo that. Let's go around on the outside. So I'm going to pull it up this way and have it just a little bit out like that. And you're rolling up in the back. Let's see if I can get that not to. I don't think I can. I think it's just going to do that, isn't it? That's fine. File, export, OBJ selected. This is pull front 01. Morse. Genesis a female. New folder. Top. Up. Lift. That's what I'm saying. Lift. Front. 01. Save that. Okay, we're going to come back to here and I'm going to undo that. I'm going to do a couple of these. We're going to put one right here. I'm going to add another one over here. And we're just going to grab both of these. I got both of them. I got both of them now. And we're just going to lift that up like so. And let's get you up through here. And then I'm going to adjust the positioning of these so it's a little more relaxed. I'm still getting some weirdness in here. Maybe we'll do that. File, export, OBJ selected. I hit the wrong thing. Try this again. File export OBJ selected. Lift front. Go to both. Save. Okay. I'm gonna delete selected pin, and then we'll just pull you back down. If I can get that edge right there. Did I got the right spot? I think I might have. That's a pretty tight shirt. I think how are you looking? That's lift O2, right? File export OBJ selected. This one here, lift front O2, right? Okie dokie. All right, we're gonna back up to where we were. Right there. We're gonna get rid of this pen. And then I'm just gonna pull the right side back down. If I can find like a bottom edge or something in here. Somewhere in there. I'm gonna adjust you a little bit, I guess. You know what? That's gonna probably be okay. All right, let's export that. File, export OBJ selected. Lift front O2 left. All right, let's see. Can I get you all the way back to where we started from? I think that's looking, there we go. And then we get rid of those. Now we're going to lift up the back. So I'm going to call that back 01. Lift back 01. And then we'll just really, am I simulating? I am simulating. Okay, excellent. And we'll just kind of bring you all the way up here and see if we can get the rest of the shirt to kind of come up so you're not really that. You're not liking that, are you? That, you know what? Maybe we just. That's a hot mess. Oh no, one of my sleeves has ended up over there. All right, let's try this again. Are you really sticky? Is that. You aren't sticky. It's just that shirt is just kind of tight. So maybe we just kind of do this in baby steps this time. I see I almost pulled that sleeve through again. I'm not liking that at all. Let's see if we can. This may not work out. I might just go with the one lift that is working, or maybe we'll just back it up again and try this with the strengthening on. If it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out. So let's try it this way, H, and then I'll just try to pull the shirt up like this. And then it's fell through. And now I'm on the inside looking out. You know what? We're not going to do a lift. The lift 2 just isn't working. So if it doesn't work, we're just going to not do it. It's just impractical. Okay, let's try just putting it around the neck and shoulders. We'll try this. This is going to be a little weird because I'm stuck in it's kind of stuck in the character. There we go. Add a little more thickness to that. Give it a little more body. I'll call that over shoulders. Okay, now we'll put it back and we'll pull it off the arms. Oh no, it didn't go back. Sometimes the undos don't quite work like you would expect them to, which is kind of annoying. No, I'm not exporting. I want to import add OBJ's garment. Okie dokie. All right. So as we had noticed, it's kind of a tight fit, but I think we can do this. Off shoulder 1. Actually, let me do that. Export OBJ selected. Am I still... Oh, no, I was in the right folder. Never mind. There we go. Okie dokie. You know what? I'm going to do this and then see if I can get that to come off. And then see if we can get this back up like so. And then relax it. All right, and then we're going to put it back like that. We'll do the same for the right, then we'll do both, and then we'll do one version with it around the waist. Oh, I didn't want to go that far. I want to kind of just get you off the shoulder a little bit like that. And then we could do this. Pull you up like there a little bit more. Off shoulder right 01. All right, let's get it all the way off. And we'll just kind of sort that back into shape. Loosen it out a little bit so it kind of flops a little. Export that. Right 02. Okay, now we'll do both. I think I'm going to have to crank up the, yeah, let's crank up the friction on the avatar. It's really stretching too much. I know, I know. Oh no, I'm pulling through the arm instead of off the shoulder. I think I've got it. I think I've got it. There we go. It's probably as good as I'm going to get that one. Off shoulder both. One. Let me see if I can get you a little bit. I think that's a little bit better. Okay, now let's do this, and then we'll just get them off both. This should be a little easier to get it to play with. I probably should pin the other side when I do this. Yeah, that's not working. Let's try this again. Okay, so I'm going to get one side done, and then I'm going to pin that, and then we'll do the other side. So that it doesn't, so it can kind of hold its shape a little bit better. So I'm just going to get that in there. I just come over here, pin lasso. I'm just going to grab that and grab this over here. And then hopefully I can get that off the shoulder and still. Okay. There we go. Much better. All right, now we'll just delete all the pins. Let that relax out. Save that. That's both 02. And then, yeah, and I'm just going to pull it down to the waist. And I'll call that down to waist. All right, I think that's oh, now we'll do the hanging morph and on the ground morphs in those. So actually, it's probably easier just to delete everything and reload. And we'll go get our hanger. which is sitting over here in projects. That was that Hanger 02. There you go. Okie dokie. All right, let's move you up. Let's move you a little forward. Let's do that. Let's set that to 5. Looking good. All right, file export. OBJ selected. Hanging, and I'm probably in the wrong folder, so I got to make sure we navigate back to where we want to be over here. Yay. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of that. Let's just grab that and do our second hanging. All right, we're just going to grab a little bit of fabric over there. Sure, it's going to do that. Set that to 5. Check my phone. Looking good. All right, that's hanging too. Okie dokie. All right, let's undo all of that. Drop it to the ground. On the ground 1. On ground 01. Save. Ba-ba-bum. That should say welded, but this doesn't have any welds in it, so it's probably okay. I haven't even noticed it was doing that. Raf Ed Dawani, welcome. How are you doing today? I'm adding morphs to clothes for use in Daz Studio. All right, let's flatten this out onto the ground. You were down with the... Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's just the opposite of fun, isn't it? Actually, let's do this. And then we'll do that. And trying to lay this out neatly, but it may not. It's probably as good as I'm going to get it. I'm doing well, thanks. All right, let's export that out. That's going to be on the ground too. Export OBJ selected, on the ground too. Then we can add these to the close. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's take a look and hope for the best. I got my top, I got my morphs. I'm going to use Morph Loader Pro. Choose my morphs. My morphs are over here. Accept that and hope for the best. It looks like they all worked. Yay. And there's much rejoicing. And we'll just double check to make sure they're kind of doing what they're supposed to do. They're kind of doing what they're supposed to do. So those are all good. Control Shift F on that. All right, so I'm going to organize these. First, we're going to set the color of the dial. So set presentation. Got that red. Got that black. Say OK and accept. Now we're going to organize the property group for that. It's going to be actor special. I have to type in special. Do that. Let's try that again. That did not turn out well. That looks better. All right, let's save that as a modifier asset. It's right there, special. Save all of the special morphs. Okay, so those are good. Did I do everything? I did the leotard. I haven't done the hose yet, have I? So before we do the hose, we're going to load some of these morphs over in the Genesis 9 version and save that out. Let's get that in here. Some of those morphs we can use with this. Others I have to recreate just for Genesis 9. So we're doing... So on the ground, these ones right here work with both Genesis 9 and Genesis 8. So I can use those, bring those in. Except I've got the wrong thing still selected. Damn it. Let's try this again. Yay, they worked. All right, I'm going to organize these and save them before I move on. Change the colors of the dials. And move that to the actor special. Well, there isn't a special yet, but there is now. There we go. And let's save those so I don't lose them. And I'll just check special and say okay to that. All right, let's do the hose. And I think for the hose, it's mostly, I'm going to do down sides, front, back, and then we'll just pull them all the way down. And if I do that, I still have to do the Genesis 9 top, the Genesis 9 suspender leotard, and the Genesis 9 hose. But we're going to get the Genesis 8 hose done. Those I'm probably going to have to do after stream at the rate I'm going. Because we're probably going to call it a day at 4, which is coming up fast here. File, import, add, OBJ to garment. You know what? I forgot to bring in the avatar. That's fine. I can do that next. Hose. There we go. And then we'll load in the avatar. Is this doing what I think it's doing? No, it did it right. Okay. We should be good. I'm going to lower gravity and up the friction on here. I'm going to go back to normal. I'm going to change the gravity to, I don't know, minus 1,000 for now. I'm going to take you and I'm going to set that to 5. And I'm going to increase the friction on the avatar all the way up, make it as sticky as possible. Okay, now we should be ready to go. Let's do that. Am I simulating? I am now simulating. So let's do down on the left. I'm starting to get slow again. Let's switch that back to normal. Let it do that. I think I'm going to pull it a little bit further down back here. Although I should have done that and then did this. Let's do that. Yo, it's DJ Ray. How's the party, Ray? How's your holiday? I think that's good. We're going to call that down left. File, export, OBJ selected. I need a folder for this. All good, and you busy holiday. Let's add a new folder here. New folder. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate that, man. Pose. There we go. Down left. Okie dokie. We're adding Morse to close today. That's what we're doing. So we're going to undo back to there. And we're just going to do the other side. You know what? I'm going to save and I'm going to reload. It's getting slow again. It was having decent performance until it gets tired. I feel like sometimes. Actually, what I really suspect is it's the undo list gets jammed up. After a while, it just keeps putting stuff in the undo list, and then it just runs out of memory, and then it just gets really slow. It could be something else. I'm not an expert on that sort of stuff. Anyhow, we're waiting for Marvelous Designer to relaunch. So hopefully it'll kind of clear itself out and run a bit faster. We should be able to just load up what we were just working on. Oh yeah, remember kids, you only have a few more days to get that 30% off your personal annual Marvelous Designer subscription. If you were looking into it, this is definitely the time. Don't wait till January. You will spend another $100 more than you could have right now. And you don't want to do that. Well, it's close to 100. It's not exactly 100. It's like 96 or something. Um, anywho, if you're thinking about Marvelous Designer, now is the time to buy to get the subscription for the next year. Recent morphs. There we go. There we are. All right, let's do the right side now. And I'm going to go to the back and pull on the back a little bit further down on the glutes. And then we'll hit this. And then I'm just going to kind of pull you a little bit more like that. And how are you looking? You're looking fine. File, export, OBJ selected, down, right. And save that. Okay, let's put that back. Let's just pull the front down a bit. Probably good. File, export, OBJ selected, down, front, save that, okay to that. All right, let's put it back. Let's do the rear. We'll try to get it down past the butt crack here, or the cheek. I don't know, what do you call that? The bottom of the cheek. Cheeky bastard. Just like that. All right, export that. OBJ selected, down rear. Okie dokie. Now we're going to do down 5 downwards, just pulling them down to the feet. First, we'll start with one that kind of goes to about to the butt crack and a little bit lower in the front. Maybe right about in there. File, export, OBJ selected. It's going to be down 01. Okay, now we'll just pull this down past the butt cheeks and just past the crotch. Down in there. Right about in there. File export. OBJ selected. Down O2. Okie dokie. All right, let's get this to the mid to lower thigh. So I'm going to start pulling these parts down as well. Somewhere in there I think will be fine. So it's a little easier to pull down when it's strengthened, and then I unstrengthen it to get the better look out of it before exporting. And that's down 03. 04 will be just past the knees. And then 5 will be as close to the ground as I can get. With the Genesis 9 in this straight pose, we can pretty much drop it to the ground. But with this kind of A pose in the legs here, it doesn't quite work out that way for Genesis 8. All right. Let me start tugging these down. And she's really sticky because I got a lot of friction turned on. You know, somewhere in there, I think, is good for the next one. Export OBJ selected. Oh no, I already saved. You know what? You were supposed to be 3. I accidentally labeled 3, 4. That's okay. We can just change that back to 3. Make sure that says 4. Save that. We should be good to go. Okay, let's see if we can get that down to the ankles. Really? Those crazy kids and their droopy drawers. I think that's pretty much as low as I might be able to get it to reasonably go. I don't know. Let's switch it back to that. Am I creeping under? Oh, it starts under the feet. Never mind. I think this is going to be as good as this is going to get, so I'm going to save that. The Genesis 8.9 version of the last morph always looks better. That's what you're always having to tell Sarah. Down 5. Okay, save that. Okay, we've got 4 more morphs to do. We're going to do our hanging morphs and on the ground morphs. And you know what? It's probably easier just to delete everything and load it in again. Are you not? You stopped doing stuff. There we go. File, import, add, obj to garment. We'll come back over to here. Get the O's. Get that in here. Let's set that to 5. Okay, I'm going to clip it here and here, and then in the back. Oops, wrong tool. I want that one right there. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to grab that. And I'm going to grab this one. Let's try that a little deeper, maybe. Can I get 2, 3? That's fine. Pull those that way. Pull those this way. You know, those are lining up fairly nicely. Let's grab all of them. And we're going to get that so that those feet aren't on the ground. Can I pull that? Probably not. I'm going to up the gravity a little bit. I think I had it at 1,000 tonight. Yeah, let's put that back to normal. Okay, that's hanging 01. Oops, I wanted to not export OBJ selected. That's what we want. And we want to put this into the hose. Hanging 01. Okay, let's reset. And then we'll just grab it by one side and hang it that way. Hell yeah, I got the best viewers. Stream Boo. Alright, let's delete all the pins. And let's just add a pin over here. And then we're just gonna... Hey, Statler and Waldorf, how are you doing? Let's get you up like that. Let's increase the gravity back again. Happy Saturday. Does it still say Saturday on my thing? Damn it. Oh, it says Monday. Wait a minute. Or you're having one hell of a great Saturday, aren't you? Maybe YouTube says on Monday. Did I not change Twitch? Is that what happened? Damn it. Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, the Twitch didn't get changed. Damn it. Did I forget to I must not have hit the done button when I was done updating the titles. Dangity dang it. There we go. That's better. All right, let's export that out. That's hanging 02. And then we're going to do 2 on the ground morphs. Then we're going to load these into DAZ, and then we're going to call it a day. All right, do that. All right, let's put you back to... Put you back to there. Get rid of that. Set the gravity. Okay, do that. There we go, on the ground. On ground, 01, boom. Probably good. All right, now we'll just do a second on ground where it's just going to kind of be laid out flat. File, export, OBJ selected, on ground 02. And I'm done making morphs for Genesis 8. And we've got some of the morphs already done for Genesis 9. Say okay to that. Pop back over to here. Okay, what were we doing? We were doing the Genesis 8 post. Did I delete my Genesis 9 in here? It looks like I did. So I'm going to need that in a minute, but not right now. I need this one right here. All right, let's load those morphs in. Yo, Art, how are you doing, buddy? All right, select that, load the morphs, choose the morph files, go over to the hose folder. All of that's looking good. Everything has a size. Open that, accept that. Watch it load in the morphs. Keep our fingers crossed. Everything came in successfully. Yay. There they are. All right, let's organize this a little bit better. There we are. Art, the funkiest man in town. Presentation. That is red. That is black. That is okay. That is accept. All right, let's set the property group to actor slash special and accept that. And we're just going to save those right there in the base. And those are the special morphs we just loaded. We'll also just take a quick peek and see if they're looking okay. They're looking okay. Doing good. Grilled one more time as it hit 63. I think we were in the 20s yesterday, and then it started raining, and it's in the 30s. It says it's 44. But then it's supposed to drop down into the teens again tonight, and it rained. So we're going to have sheets of ice over everything. Yay. Although I did actually pick up some ice melt, so hopefully I won't kill too many people on the front step. All right, I want to add some of these morphs to the Genesis 9, and we're going to call it a day. So a lot of those morphs won't work with Genesis 9, but the hanging morphs and the on the ground morphs will. So we're going to load those in here and save that. There's my Morph Loader Pro. Choose my morphs. Hanging and on the ground. I'm going to say open that up. I'm going to accept that. I'm going to hope that these are compatible. Yes. And then we'll come over here. I'm going to change the colors of those. So they are that like red and black. So now my dials have got that cool new color. And then we're going to organize it so that it's under here, actor. So set the property. Yep, that's us too. Found a small porterhouse with a with a 2023. You put stuff in the freezer and leave it there for a while. Is that what you're telling me? Chris. I'm going to get up and fix my dinner. All right. Yeah, I'm just getting ready to call it a day here. Thanks for being here, though, Charles. Everybody, check out our good friend Charles. Oh, yeah. Slash special. Did I even spell that right? I don't think I did. Accept that. Should be good. I'm just going to save this, and then we're going to call it a day. We're going to find somebody else to raid here. So things still to do. I still have to do morphs on the Genesis 9 versions, but the Genesis 8 versions are pretty much done for this set. And I did all the materials. I still have to do hierarchical material presets. I still have to do those. And then I'm going to get a copy over to our friend Valkyrie, and she can make texture add-ons, and then we can both submit it to Daz. So where am I at? I'm over here. I'm selecting special. I'm saving those. There, they're saved. All right, we're going to call it a day here. I just spent the whole day making morphs for this outfit. This is the, I'm calling it Aerocon. It's a 80s inspired aerobics outfit. Let's see how this is. Are you going to render for me? Can you do that? So I am done with you. Do I hear the opera when they text you? The opera doesn't text me. You get texts from the opera? So here's how we're coming along. What do I got to do on the Genesis 8 version still? I'm not sure I like this color. This color always kind of looks glowy. So I may swap that out for something else. Oh, the Valkyries. I wasn't paying attention. No. When they message me over in Discord, I don't hear opera. Freaking Wagner. Anyhow, here's how we're looking. It's coming along. It's almost done. I'm not doing shoes because more than half of the times when I'm looking at aerobics pictures, they don't have shoes. You're required. It's obligatory. Is that it? Anyhow, let's find somebody to raid and call it a day. I appreciate everybody being here. Hey, if you're on YouTube, I really appreciate that. Like and subscribe. That would be awesome. Oh, by the way, follow Yaz the artist. I don't know. I'm going to see if Yaz is on yet. And I'm going to recommend my good friend Yaz. If you aren't already checking out Yaz over on YouTube, you should be. We'll do a quick ad here for my friend Yaz. She does doodle requests. She is doodling right now. There's Yaz the artist. Let's go over. Take a look. Hey, there's something new. I got an ad on YouTube. Imagine that. Anyhow, let me copy this. Actually, does this go to her? I'm going to go over here to her page. Yaz the artist. Let's copy that. Go check her out. She's super cool. Go over there. Slam that like button if you get a chance. And she will do doodle requests. She gets so many doodle requests now. She puts your name in a bowl, pulls it out, you get a doodle request. So anyhow, do me a favor if you can pop over to YouTube and follow Yaz the artist. That would be awesome. Or subscribe, as they call it on YouTube. Anyhow, let's see who's on Twitch, who we can go raid. Who's on the Twitch first today? Me and my 4 viewers, 3 of which are bots, and one of which is Charles, who's actually gone away. I hear myself. I see Plobby is doing art, so that's a really strong candidate. Plobby is a Blender art friend, and probably Creation is doing art. Creation is another art friend. You know what? I think we'll go over and say hi to Creation. We'll do that. So here we go. Let's do this. Control C. Oh yeah, remember kids, buy my stuff at Dad's. That would be cool if you can. Feel free to join the Discord. If you post stuff in the galleries, we share it on Saturday nights on the Saturday Night Social. Um, Also, I try to put my announcements of streaming in there. So if I'm not going to be streaming on a scheduled day, that's the place I'll tell you about it. Dum 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 dum. I think that's good. We shouted out Charles. I did this. I did the Discord. Let's yeah, let's set the raid up. Let's do this. So if you're on Twitch, feel free to join the raid. If you're not a subscriber, copy that. If you are a subscriber, you can use the sub raid call. There we go. Let's do this raid. Trajan. I think I can almost spell that. That may or may not have worked. That looks like it worked. 6 viewers. Where did I suddenly get 6 viewers? Anyhow, I'm copying my raid call. Hey, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. for more stuff like this. I think I'm going to start the next set, and I'm thinking Sexy Barbarian Fighter Babe. Yeah, we'll try something like that. That's what I'm kind of thinking. Sword and scabbard, belt, bikini armor bottom, bikini armor top. I think I'm going to do a cloak, maybe gloves and gauntlets and boots, and I don't know, maybe a barbarian headband. I'm not sure about that. I may or may not do that. I do want to do a sword and a scabbard though. And I want to show too much skin because I think that might sell. So anyhow, thank you all for being here. I hope you have a good rest of a Monday or Tuesday for those of you on the happy side of the planet. And hasta la vista, baby.